I'm super excited to have a special guest to interview. For once, I'm always showing up live by myself, but this time I have a friend, and I'm going to soon let her introduce herself, tell you guys what she does, and how she can help you. And for those of you watching me for the first time, I'm going to quickly introduce myself. My name is Martine Cadet. I'm a social media and content coach for female coaches. And what I do is I help them use those platforms organically so they could get clients. My coaching signature element is about relationship marketing. I love connecting with people online and building a community. I have my own Facebook group. And so this is who I am. And today I'm excited to bring a friend who is killing it on Instagram because that's how we met. Let's just talk about how we met. So I'm a big Instagrammer as far as connecting with amazing entrepreneurs. And I came across Efia's Instagram and I was like, oh my goodness, this girl got it all put together. I don't need to help her. She got this. Her Instagram is on brand. It's beautiful. She has, and obviously check the links in the comments of this video so you can follow her. She gives so many great tips. Her stories are amazing. She's always there. And I had to have her in my community and I had to set up this interview. So take it away, my love. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what's your jam, and where are you located?
Well, at the moment, I'm actually located in Melbourne, but I'm from Scotland. And my name is Efia, and I am a Pinterest manager for coaches and creatives. So, what I really love to do is help female entrepreneurs, especially coaches, really scale their businesses using the power of Pinterest.
I love it. I have to tell you, I had mentioned to you briefly initially when we first met, Pinterest is one of the platforms that I truly love. But believe it or not, I have challenges with it because and hopefully you can clarify a few things, and I'm sure whoever's watching this probably has the same challenges on Pinterest. Before we get into the technical things of Pinterest, can you just walk us through what Pinterest is? Is it a social media platform? Do you look at it? How do you look at Pinterest?
To be honest, when Pinterest first came out and people were trying to view it as a social media platform, I think this is where the initial confusion came from, because in a way it is a social media platform, but it's not social in a platform such as Facebook or Instagram where you have that like one-on-one communication with someone. And then people kind of moved to comparing it as a search engine. So to think of it like Google, because what you're aiming to do is have your content ranking high in the searches. But as describes it, I went to this conference in Berlin, and one of the guys that does UX at Pinterest was there, and he was really saying that it's really a visual discovery platform and that we shouldn't compare it to anything else that's out there because it simply isn't like anything else that's out there. But in order to contextualize it and really give it some meaning for yourself, I would say that it's a mix of a social media platform and Google, and you really want to have stuff that is visually appealing, that is useful, but you also want to focus on the technical side as well. So once your content's on there, people can actually find you.
Excellent. So I know I've heard, and you just mentioned it's like it's a social media platform, yet it's more like a search engine kind of place. So with that said, does that mean that in order for you to start off your Pinterest account as a coach who has probably just a sales page and not a website, would you recommend being positioned on Pinterest with with no website?
I think that you can do it with no website, because you have to remember that there is so many types of content out there. Your website is just one element of the content you have. You might also have an email list, your Instagram posts, your Facebook group, or your Facebook page. There are so many different types of content. But what I will say is that especially blogs, but also YouTube videos and podcasts really give so much more value to your audience, because if you're leading someone straight to your sales page, you know, it's like jumping ahead of the dates. You go straight from the first date to the fifth date and we don't know anything about you yet. So you really do want to share some other content with people so that they can get to know you and build that know, like, and trust factor. And I think you don't need to overwhelm yourself with like, oh, I need to create a new blog post every day so that I have fresh content for Pinterest. Fresh content can be any of those things I just mentioned and so much more. And another thing why I advocate blogging for Pinterest is because it helps you rank on Google as well. You can actually, your Pinterest content can be searched on Google. So you might search something on Google and it will come up with a link to something someone shared on Pinterest. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Now, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, most of us are always chasing time. Like, we're like, I don't have time to be on social media. I don't have time to be on Instagram. Now you're telling me to go on Pinterest and build that know, like, trust factor. Now talk about the cadence. What do you, how does it look as far as me, a business owner, a female coach wanting to position myself on Pinterest? What does it look like as far as preparing the content, publishing it? What's that cadence looking like?
So you're really going to want to position yourself as an expert. Even if you have no followers on the platform, it's really important to be known as the best at what you do. When you have to think that when people go to Pinterest, they are searching for solutions to their questions. They're searching to be inspired for their business ideas. And in a way, it's different from other social media platforms because you don't necessarily go there to be inspired in the same way that you do for Pinterest. You're like, I need answers to these questions and I'm willing to pay whatever, or I'm willing to do whatever in order to get the answer to those questions. So in terms of putting content out there, yes, you need to be sharing your own content, but you also need to be sharing other people's content. Being an expert on Pinterest is about being a creator and a curator. It's about having the mix of both. So I think when people feel overwhelmed with, oh my God, like I need to constantly be having new content, in a sense, you do need to be putting your own content out there weekly and having fresh pins. But as long as you're also sharing other content that your audience is going to find useful. So for example, say that you're a Facebook ad specialist. Yes, your Pinterest is largely going to be focusing on Facebook ads, but then it's also around what is something you want to fill in the full picture. What is everything else this person needs to know? Okay, maybe they're a female entrepreneur. They need female entrepreneur tips. Maybe they need to know how to manage their time, how to be more productive. You really need to think of the full picture. And if you don't have content on that, find someone who does.
Right. And this is what, if you, those are the boards, right? That you would be creating depending on the subject. You could just kind of line list. Okay. Okay. So you have the boards and you're either sharing, you're sharing your own content and then you're sharing other people's content. I get it.
Yeah.
Now, what is the one big tip that you would say for someone that's brand new to Pinterest? She's a coach, she's very positioned on Instagram and other platforms. What is the one thing you would say to her to ensure that she does as she starts building outside of sharing her content? Like as far as the designing, as far as the, you know, the positioning, like is there, because I know for me, I'll just, and you probably will relate to that because of Instagram, how I love your Instagram profile, because everything, you know, I'm all about patterns and ensure, because it's such a visual app. I like consistency and whatnot. Like there are things in there in the Instagram app that I truly, truly believe needs to happen in order for it to position itself like a, you know, strong branding. Is it the same thing with Pinterest? Do I need to worry about making sure that, you know, things are cohesive? And I get it that I'm going to share other people's content that are not going to look like mine. Like, how do you balance that? How do you present your brand on that platform?
I think there is a couple of facets to this question because yes, you do want your content to be branded so that people can remember you, people are going to know who you are. But I would say the most important thing is that when you are creating your pins, that you have your website name on there. So if people just see the pin at face value and they're going to keep seeing those pins, they're like, okay, I know who this is. But you don't necessarily need to follow a cookie cutter of the same design every single time because Pinterest is all about experimentation. And I think this is where a lot of people may meet downfalls because they try a couple of things and it doesn't work and they're like, well, that's it, the platform must not work for me. But you really need to have numerous pin designs at the same time and you're testing and seeing which ones are getting the most traction. Sometimes the ones that actually aren't necessarily your brand colors will be the ones that gain the most traction. So I definitely experiment with that a lot. And I know for my own personal account, two of my pins that went viral on my account are completely different from my brand colors. They're very bright pink and very out there, whereas I would say mine's is a little bit more muted, a little bit pastel. So you definitely just have to experiment and see what your audience resonates with, and trying different titles for different pins, different blog posts. You can create one blog post and create 10 different pins that look completely.
That was actually going to, I'm so happy you mentioned that, because that was going to be my next question to you. Do you create different pin designs for that one content? You can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Pinterest definitely views new content as new pins. So that means the new design, but it can be linking to the same website page. Obviously, you do want to have just more than one post floating around on Pinterest, but you can utilize that post and repurpose with new pin designs, because different people are going to be attracted to different things, and not just different designs,
Yeah.
also the way you word it, also the keywords that you use to help people find you. There's going to be different things, and you need to experiment and see what works for you. And also, not just focus on design, focus on using the keywords that you want to be associated with your brand. So, for example, going back to the example of a Facebook ad specialist, your keywords might be Facebook ads and social media expert. And you want to continue to use these in all your pin designs so that people know, okay, this is who she is. And so that the Pinterest algorithm knows, okay, this is what she wants to be known for, this is what she's good for, and we can trust her to talk about this.
Excellent. This is great. Thank you. No, this is good to clarify, because I have a Pinterest account, and a lot of my clients do have Pinterest accounts, and they tend not to take care of them much, and yet they come back and they're like, oh, I gotta repin from a pin that I pinned like 3 months ago. And that's the power of Pinterest. It's evergreen. It's always moving, as long as your pin is great and really informational and guides you somewhere with an answer, people are going to want to get it. Now, let's talk about content itself. Let's talk about video on Pinterest, because I feel that, and correct me if I'm wrong, it feels, well, fairly new, I guess, that you can have videos on Pinterest. And I only noticed this just over the summer, a couple months ago, scrolling through Pinterest, just trying to reacclimate myself with the platform. And I noticed a lot of videos were like sponsored posts, sponsored pins, like people advertising them, but they were videos. And I was kind of shocked, because I'm like, wait, isn't Pinterest just static content? So now you could do videos, right?
Yes, you can do videos as well for Pinterest. I think it's definitely a matter of experimenting and seeing what works for your brand. I find that with video content, sometimes, although it brings loads of views, loads of clicks on the video itself, in terms of getting people off the platform, not so much. So if you are going to be creating video content, really think of a way to deliver the message without getting them off the platform. Make a way for them to see, okay, right, I need to see what else she has to say, or this video is so useful that answered my query that I'm going to start following this person and look out for what she's doing next. Because in terms of getting people off the platform, I really think that at the moment, maybe things will change, but at the moment it's still just the static pins that are sending people away from the platform onto the next place.
This is great, Efia. I mean, and you know what I love? Obviously, all these nuggets that you're sharing pretty much clarifies the fact that it is important, if you're doing something as an entrepreneur, I believe you need to put in a strategy behind everything that you do. And, clearly you are an expert in Pinterest, and it sounds to me that I may need your help, and a lot more of us that are ready to go into Pinterest. I've experienced Pinterest myself with my business early on, and that's when I said, oh my God, Pinterest is definitely powerful, with a very random post that I had written, and it just went viral. And I'm like, oh my God. And to your point, I had the right keywords, I had the right, information, and it was linking back to a blog post on my page. And I haven't been able to be viral since then, because now I'm like thinking about, I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know this. So thank you so much for all this information. Now, tell us a little bit about how you work with us female coaches that want to use Pinterest. What do you have for us to get to know you a little bit more, and what you are able to offer us to help us get on Pinterest?
So basically, in terms of my services, I offer two main packages. And one is a Pinterest makeover packages. So that's for coaches or entrepreneurs, and they know that they want to use Pinterest. They know that it's effective as a platform, but they're not really sure where to even begin. Or they've been using Pinterest, but they're not seeing much traction. So really, the Pinterest makeover package is where I come in, I evaluate your account, and I set it up the right way. I help you find the keywords that you should be using for your brand. I optimize your boards. I help you join group boards to get your content out there in front of the right people, which is really important because a lot of people are very overwhelmed by the idea of group boards and don't know where to start or don't even know what they are to begin with. So I think that's really important to, get, especially if you're someone who's brand new and you're like, I don't have the followers yet. Things like group boards and tailwind tribes is really somewhere you want to be hanging out. The Pinterest package is really about setting you up for success so that you can go away and put these things into action. And I think it's so important to know that Pinterest is not something where you will see instant results. And setting yourself up for success now means that in the long run, you're going to see those results be more effective than if you just, you're experimenting but with no real idea with what you're doing. You need to get laser focused on your strategy from the beginning so that you can grow and evolve your strategy rather than just be evolving but not sure what you're basing that on. So that's really the Pinterest makeover package for people who want to go away and manage it themselves, but they just need a bit of help with getting started. And then I have a hands-off Pinterest package, which is where I do the day-to-day running of your Pinterest account. So everything from creating pins, figuring out your keywords, obviously evaluating your account at the beginning. And I really dive deep with you to find out more about who you are, who your business is, who your ideal client is, and where they're hanging out. And then every month you get a monthly report of what's going on in your account, what we're going to look at doing next, how many clicks you're getting to your site, because a lot of people when it comes to Pinterest are focusing on their monthly viewers, but there are a lot of other metrics that you want to focus on to see, well, how effective is the content I'm putting out there? And clicks to site is definitely one of them, because once they're on your site, that opens them up to so much more. Are they going to go to your sales page? Are they going to go to your email list? Are they going to consume more of your blog content and become an avid follower? You can't tell that just from how many people are viewing your Pinterest account at face value. So, what analytics to actually look at is something that has really become my forte, and it's something that I love to share with other business owners when I'm managing their accounts.
Yes, I love that. You have to have something to measure against in order for you to find out, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. Love that you walked us through that. Those are great packages. Those are great services. And do you, well, obviously I'm going to put your website and information in the description for anyone that's interested in finding out more about you. Is there anything right now that you're special that's happening in your business? I'm only asking because I know that all of us entrepreneurs usually have something great going on, whether it's a challenge or a worksheet or whatnot. What do you have for us to get started right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, there's always ways for you to get started. So I've actually created this incredible email guide, which is an 8 steps to success on sales on Pinterest. And it's really 8 steps that you need to help you refine your strategy on Pinterest, to work out what even needs to be in your strategy. And then the checklist, so you can say, okay, how many of these things am I doing now? And what do I have to improve on? And I really wanted to give people a foundation to build off of. And I think this is absolutely incredible for doing that. The results that people have been having already, just from putting these steps into practice, has made a massive difference. So
Excellent. Thank you so much. So I'm going to put that link as well so that we can grab that. I'm going to sign up. I need to do this. Start looking. Pinterest is definitely, to me, it's growing. And obviously, you know that because you're an expert in it and you're investing your energy and everything that you can to get even better at it. If anything, it keeps growing. And a lot of people, like I know my coach and other coaches that I've spoken to, they refer to Pinterest a lot for inspiration, for market research. So, it's definitely a platform that is one of the top ones to look at when you are playing online, working your business online. This was awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to connect with me and sharing all of these nuggets with all of us watching this. And I definitely look forward to having you again and talk about more about Pinterest, especially as things evolve. Look at Instagram hiding the likes. By the way, are they hiding likes on your side where you are? They are?
I was in South Korea. I could see all the likes, and then I got to Melbourne. And I was like,
oh my gosh, I love it.
like, oh, life's different in the upside down.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's still, you could still see it here in the US.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, they haven't taken it out.
My likes, Martine.
I can see your likes. This was awesome. Thank you so, so much. And again, Efia, I want you back. You know it.
Yes, I'll be back.
Yes, you are. You're the Pinterest queen. That's my name for you. Pinterest queen.
I will accept the crown. I will duly accept that crown. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you for having me. I hope you have an awesome day, and everybody get on Pinterest.
Yes, we need to get on Pinterest, guys. Female coaches, let's go. And it's all types of coaches. It's not like lifestyle, like
everybody. Yeah. I actually have a blog post on why it's so great for coaches, so definitely have a read of that as well.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Speak soon.